Eighth one I don't really talk about. That's not really a practice. That is reaching a more powerful stage of existence. That's called samadhi. But the other limbs of yoga, which includes exercise, breathing techniques, concentration, mindfulness, and meditation, each and every one of them is important. And you need to spend a couple of minutes, start practicing, and then you'll see, you will become an addict. And once you become an addict to yoga, rather than being an addict to glucose and cocaine and other drugs, or to stress. Don't forget that stress is addiction. And the worst thing is that, remember this fact, 6 million years I told you, when you got up early in the morning, you didn't get to see your wife, your father, your mother, or your children. You might have seen an anaconda trying to slither in your cave. So your brain is trained to look out for danger. Unfortunately, despite living in a civilized society, our brain has remained the same. So today the brain is efficient enough to look for stress, this much of stress. Tomorrow brain tries to be more efficient. It gets more nerves involved so that it could look out for this amount of stress. And then this amount of hello? Even minimum stress will, you know people, they're stressed out for everything. Maybe you and I are also like that. Because that's what the brain is supposed to do. You got a physical body not to be a superhuman. You got a physical body to be a normal human. And what does normal human do? Protect yourself, achieve what you want to achieve, reproduce so that the species can go on. So that's almost same as what a snake does. A snake will protect its small, it will reproduce. So how different are we from a lower animal, despite having a 1600 cc of brain? We are not. And that's what the monks or the rishis 10,000 years back in India realized, that they can achieve much bigger powers by doing some small tricks, so that the brain stops being the driving force. Because your life is your life and you should be the driving force. Both your brain and body should be your slave. And there's one more small thing. What is that? Modern medicine thought brain affects the body in only a few diseases, and they used to call them psychosomatic illness. But now you know everything that happens in your brain affects your body. Everything that affects in your body affects your brain. And it's not only the nervous system, even blood cells. Blood cell released neurotransmitters which can go into the brain and make changes in your life. Let me give you one example. You will be really, it's really stunning, how nature made this magnificent machine called human body. 30-35% of people in this country after 80-85 languish in nursing homes. They don't know their name. They don't know their children's name. They don't know where they live because they have memory loss. Dementia is a big problem. We don't have any drugs for dementia. We have 3 drugs which really doesn't work as good as a placebo. Recently one drug came out which was not thought to be good enough. FDA approved it. The only reason is they just don't have any drug. And the unfortunate part is the next day, there were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but just check the actual news, there were, I think, 11 people who approved it. Out of that, 5 gave negative votes. The 5 who gave negative votes resigned the next day in protest. But FDA had no other way. Like, for example, cancer. You cannot wait to prove a cancer drug really works. So FDA has spent 30 years, 40 years, 70 years to approve a drug in other diseases, but it approves a drug for cancer much quickly because that saves life. So similarly for this drug. Now we don't have any drug, but do you know in 2010, Sarah Laser at Harvard Medical School at Mass General, she showed that 5 years of meditation can increase your cerebral cortex by 1 inch. After that, there are hundreds of papers now that your brain actually grows. You will never ever have dementia. One more small thing. In 2012, a group of researchers at Harvard came out with a chemical called irisin. This molecule was found to be released when you do yoga or any light exercises. I'm not comparing yoga with other exercises, but I'm just saying, but it does with yoga also. And they found a couple of years back that this compound also enters the brain. Remember, brain is protected from the rest of the body, and only a few things from the body can enter the brain. This compound is small enough to enter the brain. Do you know what it does in the brain? It prevents formation of Alzheimer's dementia by blocking at something called beta amyloid, which actually deposits in the brain, leading to Alzheimer's. So that's how yoga also improves your brain. So it's really fascinating what it can do. A couple of days back, a research came out that when the breath I just showed you, Ujjayi breath, it increases the speed of cerebral fluid flow. What is the cerebral fluid? It's called CSF. It bathes the brain. And people who develop dementia tend to have slow movement of CSF. And this is a study using functional MRI where they showed just taking a long yogic breath increases the speed by which CSF moves in its circulation, thereby cleaning the brain of all the toxic material that it is also producing, just like any other organs in the body. So it's basically like the kidneys of your brain. It cleans you from all the toxic material that you produce. The kidney does that. CSF does the same thing for the brain. So imagine how powerful this is. 10,000 years back, these guys thought about it. Today we are knowing the science.
So what you're saying is that this is the original lifestyle medicine.
Correct.
It talks about, it's not just physical exercise, it talks about food. We heard you say the word brain about 38 times just now, so it's all about stress reduction and better sleep. When we sleep, the brain rejuvenates itself, the body reinvigorates itself.
Absolutely.
We're running close to the end of our time. Could we do one more exercise specifically targeted towards better sleep? What is one exercise that I could do at bedtime?
Right. So this is an exercise that you could do both at your bedtime and also if you're stressed out. Like you went to your boss's room and you got a blast, or you're waiting in the, thankfully I live in a smaller city now, so I don't have to face traffic, but I used to live walking distance 15 minutes from Texas Heart Institute, that's Baylor College of Medicine, where I did my EP. But if I went in my car in Houston, it took me half an hour. So 15 minutes to walk, half an hour to 45 minutes by car, because it's bumper-to-bumper traffic, and you guys get to do that. So whenever you do that, you can do that. So this is called Chandra Bheda Pranam, or moon breathing. What you do is take your finger and block the right side of your nose. Again, sit straight, keep your spinal cord completely straight, block the right side of your nose, take in breath from the left side, just like I said you did. At that time you took breath from both the nose, this time you take only from the right nose, and leave from the right nose, and do it 5 or 6 times. Let's start. Slow, sustained, but deep breath.
From the left nostril.
You breathe in from the left nostril, but you block the right nostril. Each time, try taking longer and longer breath. You can either close your eyes, keep your eyes open. If you're sitting in a traffic, please don't close your eyes. Keep your eyes open and do it.
Unless you have a Tesla.
So if you do it 6 to 7 times, I tell people to do it 7 times, you'll immediately find there's calmness. Because what Chandra Bheda Pranam does, it directly activates your parasympathetic. So your brain wave tends to change, and you get less stressed out. Your release of things like noradrenaline and adrenaline, which gives you the sympathetic spike, those decreases. So any stressful thing, you do that. Before going to sleep, you can do that. Do this will calm you. But don't try to do it way before you go to sleep, because sometimes what happens is this can, and that's why I would warn you not to do it immediately without practicing at home in a traffic light. The reason is you might go into deeper waves and you might feel sleepy. So you need to know every person is different. You have a twin brother or sister, he or she may be completely different from you. Everybody's constitution is different. So you got to know what this does to you. So when you do for sleep, you should do it after your lights are off. So first of all, a lot of people don't understand this. They have an iPad on or they have a phone on. They release blue light. Blue light activates your brain. Blue light decreases serotonin production, melatonin production. If your melatonin production is reduced, you're not going to feel sleepy. That's how human brain works. So you make sure that you don't have blue light in your room. A lot of people think, oh, I shut off the main light, so I should be good. No. And your iPad is opening up every 2 seconds with you getting a message or an email. So that's blue light. You got to stop everything, lie on your bed, and then practice it. And you'll see, you'll get better by the days. In 7 days, next 2 weeks, you'll get better. And with that, if you start meditation early in the morning, I generally advise people to start meditation earliest in the morning, even before you brush your teeth. Because once you're out, you start giving excuses. Oh, it's too late, I have to rush to the office, I have to do this, I have to do that. But once you start that, at least for the first 4 to 6 weeks, you get habituated. And once you get habituated, then it becomes easy. But that is important because that 4 to 6 weeks should be enough to force yourself to do it. You may not like it after third or fourth, but force yourself. After 4 to 6 weeks, once your brain gets tuned, as Dr. Furman was saying, that body will try to tell you, no, 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 don't do this. This is dangerous for you, because it wants to keep it loves the addiction. And addictions, unfortunately, are extremely powerful. So you have to break the addiction, and this is the way you break the addiction. And once you do that, then life becomes easy. You can, like I'm talking to you, a part of my brain can still meditate. Of course, I've been doing this for 30 years. I learned from one of the most powerful sages in India. So, but that's the way it is.
Indra, I've been told that there's bouncers, then we're going to be thrown off the stage. So one last question.
Yeah.
One last question. If you were Surgeon General today, what would be your top 3 wishes, top 3 priorities that you would want?
So America spends 99 cents for acute care medicine and 1% for preventive care. Finland and Sweden spend 67% on acute care medicine, 33% on preventive medicine. America spends 40 times more than Finland and Sweden. America is 42nd in health. Finland and Sweden is number 1 in health. So first thing I'll do is change the way health is. Spend more money for preventive health, for education, for diet. Number 2 is teach doctors in medical school about yoga, the science of yoga. Our doctors are like horses. Their eyes are closed. Other than modern medicine, they know nothing. They are never taught the appropriate diet, like plant diet that Joel was talking about. They are never taught about the mind-body medicine. So they have to be taught all these things. Third, and not the least, is you have to understand that laws can be made. I don't know how many of you know, in New York, one of the former governors tried to block sale of sodas within 2 miles of any school. And within a week, all the soda company put in like 14 or 16, I don't remember the number, so don't quote me, I might be lying, to file cases against against New York and ban that. So these are powerful lobbies. So the best way to do this is you got to have that, that I have to serve people. But don't forget one thing, governments can do certain things, but you can do it at your level. I drink soda all the time, 24/7, 365. Do you know what soda I drink? The soda made by God, and that's called water. That is the best soda in the world. It's free, it's tasty, and it doesn't give you disease. How does that sound?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Basure. And speaking of education and disseminating the message of health and wellness, Dr. Basure's organization and Crack the Wellness Code have actually joined forces. And we are creating a masterclass on the ancient science of lifestyle medicine, AKA yoga. So we have a 15-minute break now, but we're going to show a short video if you're interested in watching. Otherwise, we'll see you after the break, but we can go and play the video now. Thank you, Dr. Basure.
Thank you, thank you.
Can I get a mic? Yeah. So before everybody goes on a break, a quick kind of call out and a shout out to Dr. Indranil Basu once again. Please give a big round of applause. Did you see a trend here? I mean, Dr. Joel came in and talked about desire. Dr. Basu is talking about addiction. So everything is around mind and how you kind of control that mind. Yes, we have a lot of addictions around us, and how we take that in our hand and turn it around is our goal. So Dr. Basu, really, really wonderful. Thank you so much. We will play a 3-minute video, and then we'll go on a short break for 15 minutes. Please come back on time. There's some snacks and chai out there, all kind of nutrient filled. So it is 11:24 now. We are 10 minutes over. Let's come back around 11:40. Okay. Thank you so much.
My dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new YouTube series done jointly by the American Academy for Yoga in Medicine and Crack the Wellness Code, two nonprofits that's working to make the life of each and every one of us better every day. We combine the best of knowledge by some of the best physicians from all over the world, getting into the